Namo Pha. Thanks for joining me for our daily practice check-in. Listen, listen, listen. This beautiful sound calls us back to our true home. The fifth mindfulness training. Aware of the suffering caused by unmindful consumption, I vow to cultivate good health, both physical and mental, for myself, my family, and my society, by practicing mindful eating, drinking, and consuming. I will ingest only items that preserve peace, well-being, and joy in my body, in my consciousness, and in the collective body and consciousness of my family and society. I'm determined not to use alcohol or any other items that contain toxins, such as certain TV programs, magazines, books, films, and conversations. I'm aware that to damage my body or my consciousness with these poisons is to betray my ancestors, my parents, my society, and future generations. I will work to transform violence, fear, anger, and confusion in myself and in society by practicing a diet for myself and for society. I understand that a proper diet is crucial for self-transformation and the transformation of society. We've been reading Beginning Our Day, Volume 2 by the monastics of Abhayagiri Monastery for our Dharma lessons. And today we're reading Ajahn Amaro's the first section of The Best Potato Salad I've Ever Made. We often think of insight meditation as something that we do as part of the formal practice. The usual instructions are to take some time to focus and concentrate the mind, and when it's steady, to begin reflecting upon the flow of experience in terms of anicca, dukkha, and anatta, impermanence or uncertainty, unsatisfactoriness, and selflessness or things not being self. Luang Por Cha encouraged us to employ these themes of investigation and contemplation, not just on the meditation mat, but also throughout the day, during all of our activities. We can use these themes as a constant companion to explore and process our own experience as we relate to the events of the day. Ajahn Chah particularly emphasized the contemplation of anicca. He would often render the word anicca as uncertainty rather than impermanence. When we think of things being impermanent, it can have a remote or objective quality, whereas uncertainty describes the feeling of the mind and heart when we experience change and transiency. That's what we perceive, the feeling of uncertainty. We don't know. It's not certain because things are changing. It's not predictable. This experience is easily accessible in our day-to-day lives and is extremely useful to remember and sustain as a contemplation. We can understand this with something as simple as drinking a cup of tea prepared by someone else. As we bring the cup to our mouths, we don't know how it's going to taste. There's that moment of almost palpable uncertainty. Or when we are on our way to perform some task, we might think, I'm now heading up to the workshop to get this particular tool. But if we reflect that finding the tool there is uncertain, then when we get to the workshop and find that, in fact, the tool isn't there, it's not a problem. Although Ajahn Pasano is leaving for Sacramento this morning, if we keep the uncertainty reflection in mind, then we can be clear that we don't really know if he's going to get there. The van driving him might have a burst tire, or the drive shaft might snap somewhere along the highway, and then he would spend the day contemplating the heat element in the valley. Not that I wish for that to happen, but I can say to myself, oh, Ajahn Pasano is going to Sacramento, is he? Is that so? Really? All we can know is that there's a plan for him to go to Sacramento. There's a plan to prepare the meal. There's a plan to go into town. This much we know. But what will happen is uncertain. Are things really the way we judged them to be? It's not certain. This is not meant to create doubt and confusion, but the more we perceive each moment as uncertain, the more we see clearly that we don't know what will happen. We don't know what the outcome will be. We don't know if what we're doing will work or will happen the way we expect. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. Namo Adi Phat. Thanks so much for joining me today.